Hi, this is Jessica, and today I just wanted to talk a little bit about VIPKID. I just got done teaching a little bit ago, hence I still have on the orange shirt. I wanted to go through some questions that I get asked on a weekly basis and hopefully give you some answers that you want to know before you interview or if you are going through the interview process, things that are helpful to know. So, the reason I started with VIPKID, I started in June of 2016, last June, the summer before. So, the reason I started is because I needed extra money badly. I was going through a divorce at the time and I found myself in debt and didn't have a way to pay all my bills actually. So teaching with VIP Kid allowed me to get out of that, and since then I've been able to quit my job. So this could potentially help you out if you are looking to just make some extra income each month or you are wanting to quit your job. It is doable. So what do you need to get hired? They ask that you have a bachelor's degree and 1 year teaching experience. If you don't have exactly that, I know some teachers have gotten in with various qualifications, but generally speaking, that's what you need. You must have high-speed internet because if you do not, your connection with the video will not be good. So the other thing is that you have to be able to get up in the morning. These are early mornings. China is 13 to 14 hours ahead depending on daylight savings, and so you get to decide exactly what time you would start. I generally start about 5 in the morning, but it depends. Sometimes I go for earlier or later depending on what my schedule is like that week. So that's part of it. The hiring process, I get asked about this a lot, and it's constantly changing. They've upgraded and made things a lot different since the time that I got hired back in June of 2016. So the first thing that you'll want to do is fill out the application. There's a link right below that you can click on and do that. And then after you fill out the application, I believe they send you an email with the link to some training material. Okay, and you'll need to complete those training videos, reading, and it might seem like a lot of work, but you will need to do that before you do your 2 mock classes. And your mock classes, the first one, they will ask you some general questions to make sure that your qualifications are actually there. They should already know that because you have to turn in paperwork to prove those things. So once you answer those general questions, you will teach a class to the person that is across the screen from you, and they will be acting like a 5-year-old. It's a little awkward. I do have to say, it makes you kind of nervous because they're acting like a 5-year-old, like they don't understand you. But it's all good. They are friendly and helpful, and in the middle they'll stop you and give you some suggestions, and then you just implement those suggestions. So the same thing happens in the second mock class. It's basically a second practice session. So I will go through in another video how to pass that, because there are some things that you need to do in order to make that happen. There's a lot of people that apply and don't get in because they have not practiced enough or don't do just certain things. They're very particular about what they're wanting. So look at my other videos. I'll make another video this coming week that has that in it as well, so you know what to do. Scheduling. I'm going to go to my screen for scheduling so that you can see exactly what it looks like. So this is what the screen for your schedule will look like once you get into teaching. So as you can tell, once it's been taught, I'm doing this at 1 in the morning after I've taught just a little bit, but it's grayed out after you've done it. So the ones in gray are the ones that I finished for the week. I've actually taught these ones in green, but it won't be finished until about 11 or 12 tomorrow mid-morning. That's when they go through and finish them. So you can look at my next week. This is what I have scheduled for next week. I never have a problem filling my schedule. It fills up every time, usually within 10 or 15 minutes. I know some other teachers don't have that good of luck, and I'm not for sure exactly all the factors that go into that, but I think a lot of it has to do with the bio that you put in and making yourself look good on paper. And it just takes time sometimes as well. But there are plenty of students. That is not an issue. So once you have your schedule, you open up your schedule. So if you look at my following week, this is what I've opened. And it just really depends on what I have for this week. I always leave my weekends open for the time that I have with my son. He's 5. I don't teach when I have him. So it works really well for me. So the weeks that I don't have him, I tend to teach more. It just depends on the week. But you can open up whatever openings that you want to open up. They used to have a minimum amount of 15 lessons a week. They don't even have that now. So if you go on vacation for a week, you don't have to teach. And that's not a problem. So that's what I really like about this. You can choose your schedule. You can see here, I was busy this week. I did not teach. So when you see an expired, that just means that it was open but didn't fill. That rarely happens, but it was during the week, and so it's more likely to happen during those times. But if you see, I don't have any expireds. Every slot that I open fills. Some weeks I teach more, some weeks I teach less, but it always fills up. So this week, I think I taught, I don't remember the exact number, but if I count, I'm pretty sure it's around 70. This was a $700 week. So, and yeah, it's early hours, but it's not bad. It's fun to do. So this is a good way to make some extra money. So this is the schedule. When it comes to getting paid, this is not a scam. I get paid by the 15th every month, and it's never late. So this is what I've made just so far in the past few days. These incentives, basically, it goes by how many classes you teach. So the participation incentives, that's just you being in class. If you're in class, you get it. The other incentives are how many classes you teach, the finished classes. So I believe if you teach less than 30 classes, you don't get anything. If you teach between 30 and 45, it's 50 cents. And if you teach more than 45 classes a week, or it's a month, excuse me, it's per month. So it's easy to do. If you teach more than 45 lessons a month, you get an extra $1 per lesson. So they don't start adding this though until you get to the 45. That's why it's 0 right now. But if you look back at my previous month, you can see that I have $131 for finished classes and $131 for participation. It usually equals each other unless there's something strange, which every once in a while there is, but that's other things. So I get paid. This is, let's see here. This is what I got paid in October. So not a bad second income. So it's not a scam. Down here they have your classes so that you can go back and check and make sure that everything is correct. They've gotten really good at notating everything that you do so that you can go and check everything. And then down here they have exactly what the incentives are for. You can also get incentives for referring. So this past month, if I go to November, you can see I had one referral that was $80. So that is also something that you can do once you're teaching. So there's ways to make more money in this as well. There are a lot of people that have become mentors or evaluators. So there are some people that not only teach but do other things, and then that creates more income for them with VIPKID as well. So I hope the pay makes sense. If you have questions, you can always email me and I'll respond, or comment in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you. When I look at the students, excuse me, when I look at the students, they are wonderful. I taught 5 students tonight and they were all the sweetest kids and great students. It's very rarely that I get a student that I'm like, oh, it does happen every once in a while, but then I don't usually see those kids again. It's usually a one-off experience. And there's only been one time I think that it was so bad that I had to email the company, VIPKID. Usually they are wonderful. So, and generally they're between the ages of 5 and 11. Sometimes you'll get a 13 or 14-year-old, but it's a bit rarer. There are two types of students. So most of mine are regular students, meaning they take the main courses. They have paid for these lessons already. But then you'll have some, excuse me, you have some students who, like, I get trial students when my students cancel. If they cancel more than 24 hours in advance, they don't have to pay for it. So when that happens, sometimes, like this one, I will have a trial student that is signed up in that slot. And this just means that it's their very first lesson. They get it for free to see if they would want to join VIPKID. These are fun lessons to do. The only bad thing is that if they don't show up, you only get paid 50%. So, you know, it's not the best, but at the same time, it can really help fill your schedule. So I don't like it as much just because my schedule fills up anyway, but it's part of it. So, you know, they're fun to teach. And the other good thing on the trials is that you can get, if they do sign up, they will give you, VIPKID will give you an extra $5 for each new kid that signs up. So that's a way to make more money as well. So talking about pay, I think I didn't say this before, but I generally make $10 every half hour, $20 an hour. So I think that's the average. So going back to the pay, you have your base pay, which is $4 a lesson or $8 an hour, 2 per hour, plus 1 plus 1. So that's $10 a half hour, $20 an hour. And there are some people who may have $1 more, $1 less. It depends on your mock interview what you get. So that's why it really matters what you do there. So if you have more questions, just let me know and I'll get back to you. The curriculum, I get asked this a lot too. So let's see if I can go to a classroom here and just show you. So this is my little Sophia who I teach. Most days I teach, she's with me. I think at this point I might be her only teacher, but I usually teach her 4 to 5 times a week. And I forget, you can't access these classes unless it's within a 48-hour time frame, which is usually time enough. So I can't show you a classroom right now because the finished ones, those are recordings. So you can go and look at the recordings of what you've taught. The parents can see it, students can use it to review, and then you have that to look at as well. But it's all PowerPoints. They're done for you. There's no planning. Everything is easy. All I do before a lesson, and I've done this for so long now that it's quite second nature, but I just have a notebook and I go through and I write down the time, I write down the name of the student and the lesson, and then I write down the materials that I need for that lesson because it's important to have props to keep them engaged. So that's really all I do before a lesson. It takes me just a few minutes, and I usually do that the day before. So there's not a lot of planning, not a lot of prep. It's easy. So that's another really great thing about this. You're not spending time doing lesson planning or prep work. There's no grades. You do have to do a small paragraph, 3-4 sentences about how the child did in the lesson. Very easy though. It's so easy. So the other thing is materials. I have a list. If you want everything written out and you want to know exactly where I bought the materials that I'm mentioning, email me for the guide and I will send it to you, and it has not only what I use for materials but where I bought it from. But I'm just really quickly going to go through what I have. So of course you need a computer. I think that goes without saying. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I have a basic computer and it works fine. I have a Logitech, it's a Logitech HD Pro webcam C920. Whenever I was doing research, um, that's my webcam actually. When I was doing research for the webcam, that seemed like one of the better options, and it wasn't that expensive. I can't remember exactly, but maybe 50 bucks. It really wasn't bad. You need a headset. Any headset will work if you want to get the kind that, commute noise, like if you have dogs or anything in the background that could be helpful. I have a lighting kit. And if you want to know exactly what I've got, ask me for the training, but you need good lighting, whether it's a lamp, whether it's a kit, whatever it is, just make sure that it's well lit. I have flashcards. I have everything just in like some drawers over here. But I have ABC flashcards, alphabet flashcards, I have color flashcards, I have number flashcards, I have I have um, alphabet magnets, and I really only use the lowercase. I've never once in the year and a half that I've taught with VIPKID, I've never used the capital letters. So I wouldn't pay more for capital letters. So you're going to need those for sure. It's actually a requirement. And the other thing that I use a lot are my puppets. I have zoo puppets. I have, elephant, lion, all that stuff. And then I have some farm puppets. I have a pig, sheep, horse, all of this. And I believe these were both Melissa and Doug, if you look. But I use those all the time. I also have, some different props like foods. I have a clock because there's quite a few lessons on telling time. And then a lot of the other things I use are just around the house, like little toys, things from the kitchen. It's nothing big, it's just things that you can find around your house. So it doesn't cost a lot. It's not going to cost you a lot for props. The other thing I have is a magic wand for my little kids. They love it. So those are the questions that I get asked a lot. So I thought I would go through that with you. But really, there are a lot of pros, a lot of advantages, and honestly, it's just flexible. You can teach when you want, don't teach when you don't want. The community is wonderful. If you ever have any questions about teaching, they have this new community called the Hutong. They have forums. All you have to do is go type in your question, comment, and you will probably receive 20 comments within, the day. People are very, very giving, and they want to see you succeed. Same thing with VIPKID. If you have any problems or issues, concerns, email them. They're back to you within 24 hours usually. So they also have a lot of workshops for teaching how to use props, how to do everything, how to travel and teach, what props for different lessons. So pretty much anything you could think of, they have workshops on these days that you can access, videos that you can watch. And the community's gotten so big. There's now over 200,000 students in VIPKID and more than 20,000 teachers. So it's a big company, and they have meetups around the world. So there was one just in Kansas City, I don't know, like a month or so ago. I wasn't able to go, but I think it's great that that's happening so teachers can meet each other, and that's just another form of community. I would say there's only a couple of drawbacks actually. The biggest one is that it's early. It's early, and there are some mornings where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. But once I get going, I'm good. And really the key to that is just going to bed a little earlier. And I've gotten used to it, and it's really not that big of a problem at this point. That's my biggest, that's the biggest drawback that I can see. So I actually have a referral link below. That does give me, if you click on that and go through with the application process and actually become a teacher, you have to become a teacher. But if that would happen, I would receive a referral fee for that. And I will say that just goes to help me and my son so that I don't have to go back to the classroom, because that's not what I want. And I think that's probably where a lot of you are at too. So if you feel like this video has helped you, or you get the guide and that helps you, if you would want to use my referral link, that would be great. If you don't want to, not a big deal either. Either way, I hope this has helped you. If you have any other questions, just let me know, and hope to see you there. Bye.